Hi guys, welcome to Simon Security Expert, and in this video we're going to be going over 3 high-profile celebrity cases of break-ins and how security worked or didn't work. Let's get straight into it. Segment number 1, Dorit Kemsley, the alarm was off. When you think of Beverly Hills, you picture glitz, glamour and gates, but no amount of wealth can protect you from a break-in if your security system is off. That's exactly what happened to Real Housewives star Dorit Kemsley in October 2021, and the story is one of the most terrifying celebrity break-ins in recent years. Dorit was at home with her 2 young children, her husband was away, and around about 11 o'clock at night, 3 masked men smashed through the rear doors of her home, right into her children's classroom area. They weren't detected, no sirens, no flashing lights, no one was alerted. Why? Because Dorit had left the alarm off. And here's the part that really hits home. She woke up to find the intruders standing at the end of her bed. Imagine that, waking up in your own house with 3 strangers towering over you. One of them reportedly said, "Grab the kid, let's go." That's how casually they walked in, completely undetected. Dorit begged them to not hurt her or her children. For about 20 minutes, they ransacked her bedroom, forcing her to show them where the valuables were kept. They made off with handbags, watches, jewelry, nearly $1 million worth. Now let's pause here, because this wasn't a case of a broken alarm. It wasn't a technical fault. The system was in fine working order. It just wasn't switched on. Dorit later admitted that she often kept the alarm disabled at night so her kids could move around without setting the alarm off. This is something many people do. I come across this a lot and really try to advise my customers to not do this and to make sure that they always have the alarm on at night. But it's also the single decision that made their home an open target. The entire incident could have been avoided with a feature every decent security system should have: a nighttime set, often referred to as a stay set. With night mode, you can secure all entry points, doors, windows, downstairs motion sensors, while keeping the upstairs movement free. This means the kids can get up, walk about, go to the toilet without triggering anything, and yet if someone tries a door or a window or anywhere downstairs, the alarm sounds. But here's where it gets even more important. Just a few months later, Dorit's house was targeted yet again. This is very common, and people don't realise how often houses are targeted again soon after if the burglars had deemed the original break-in a success, only this time the result was completely different. She'd upgraded the entire system. The new setup had outdoor motion sensors which are pet immune to avoid false alarms, and a full perimeter alarm which she made sure was now armed at night. It was also monitored, so it called the remote monitoring station who could alert the police immediately. So when motion was detected near the rear of the property, the alarm went off loudly. Floodlights triggered, the monitoring center called the police, and guess what? The criminals had already been scared off by the alarm and they had run a mile. That's what a properly installed, properly used system does. It sounds an alarm, frightens the attackers and disrupts the attack. It scares them off, it buys you time, it alerts people who can help, and in this case, the burglars didn't even get near the house. So what changed? Well, the system was armed for one, thank God. It had an external detection system and it was programmed to fit her lifestyle, using night mode properly. Look, I know we don't all live in Beverly Hills, but this applies to any home. It's not just about having a system, it's about using it. You don't need to spend a fortune, but you do need a system that fits your routine, and you need to actually switch it on. This story proves something really important. For the first time, the intruders got what they came for. The second time, they got nothing, because the security system was ready for them. Segment number 2, Wright Michelle Keegan, when security does its job. In February 2025, so very recently, Wright and Michelle Keegan were at home in their newly built £3.5 million Essex mansion. Quick pause here, guys. Just look at that property. Oh my God, I need to make some more money. Anyway, this is a home fitted with a proper security system, perimeter protection, internal sensors, professional monitoring, the works. At around 6:20 in the evening, 4 masked intruders smashed through a rear patio door. It wasn't a quiet attempt, so don't have these guys down as actual professionals, but they came in hard. But their plan started falling apart within seconds. The moment they breached the door, the alarm system triggered. Loud internal and external sirens went off immediately with no delay. Lights activated throughout the property, and alerts were sent to both the couple's phones and a 24/7 monitoring center. Upstairs, Mark and Michelle were faced with a split-second decision, so Mark decided the best course of action was to lock them in a bedroom for safety and started shouting down towards the intruders to let them know that they had been detected. And that was it. But the burglars could already hear the alarm, so they panicked and ran. They were inside the house for literally a matter of seconds. Not a single item was taken, no one was harmed. The alarm had done its job, detected, deterred, and disrupted. That's what a well-designed security system should do. It doesn't just make noise, it changes the outcome. Let's break down what worked so well here. Perimeter sensors caught the intruders at the very first point of entry. Immediate siren activation startled them and created instant pressure. Professional monitoring meant the system acted even if the couple hadn't seen the alert or hadn't been home. Mark's response, getting his family to safety, locked away, also deserves an honourable mention, down to quick thinking. Police, they arrived within 8 minutes, but that didn't matter. The threat had already been neutralised, because when your system is armed, set up correctly, and supported by monitoring or app control, that's the level of control that it gives you. After the incident, Mark reportedly looked into further upgrades, possibly private security or on-site personnel, but the story shows just how powerful a properly used security system can be on its own. One final point: social media. There was speculation that showing off their new home online may have made them a target, and I have no doubt that it did. It's a reminder to be careful what you post online and when you post it. Don't give people a Tory's security blind spots if it has got any. But most importantly, the system worked because it was armed and actively used. Secure it, arm it, trust it. Segment number 3, Nicolas Cage, when security is missing. Back in 2007, Nicolas Cage experienced something you'd expect in one of his films, but this time it was very real. It was the middle of the night. Cage was asleep in his Newport Beach home along with his wife and young son, and at 2 a.m. he suddenly woke up because he sensed movement in his bedroom. Standing at the foot of his bed, oh my god, was a man. He was completely naked, except for one thing: he was wearing Cage's leather jacket and eating a Fudgsicle from the freezer. No alarms, no noise, just an intruder casually standing in the bedroom while his family slept. Now, credit where it's due, Nick Cage handled it incredibly well. He stayed calm, spoke to the man, and eventually convinced him to leave without things turning violent. But let's be honest, this situation should have never got that far in the first place. The big question is, how did someone get that far into the home without anyone noticing? There were no signs of a break-in at the perimeter, no triggered alarms, no smashed windows. The intruder had simply walked up to the front door. According to Cage, the door was possibly left unlocked, so the guy just let himself in. And that right there is where this story comes back to home security. This isn't just a wild celebrity tale, it's a perfect example of what happens when there's no functioning security system in place and no layered defense. So let's break it down. First off, no perimeter protection. Had there been a contact sensor on the front door, it would have been immediately triggered an alarm or an entrance tone when it opened. Second, no internal motion detection. A simple motion sensor in the hallway or ground floor would have caught movement the second that guy stepped inside. Third, no alarm activation. A siren, even at entry-level volume, would have sent that man running long before he reached the bedroom. Even with a relatively basic security setup, door contacts, hall motion sensors, and a keypad at the entrance, this incident could have been avoided entirely. And let's not forget, Nicolas Cage wasn't living in some tiny flat. This was a multi-million-dollar home in an exclusive part of California, but it didn't have the most basic line of defense: a locked door and an armed security system. After the incident, Cage admitted the experience shook him so much that he moved house not long afterwards. That's the level of personal impact something like this can have, and something that a lot of people don't think about. What's even more frustrating is how easy it would have been to prevent. Modern systems, well, they now include things like smart locks, so doors lock automatically at night, entry sensors on every door and window, pet immune motion detectors for internal monitoring, mobile app alerts so you know immediately when something's wrong, and you can go as far as 24/7 monitoring that contacts you or an emergency response team when it's triggered. This wasn't just a break-in, it was a failure in planning, habit, and setup. There is no reason a stranger should make it to your bedroom at 2 a.m. without setting something off. And that's the lesson here. Even in high-end homes, even for high-profile people, security is not automatic. You have to set it up, you have to use it, and you have to make sure it's covering the right things. Because when it isn't, you wake up to a man in your jacket, eating a Fudgsicle, standing over your bed. My God. Secure the basics or risk the bizarre. So if this video made you stop and think about your own security and how it could be improved, here's what I'd recommend. If you want something professionally installed and maintained, then get in touch with a local NSI Gold approved installer. They'll be able to carry out a site survey and set you up with a modern, up-to-date system tailored to your home. But if you're more confident doing it yourself, or you just like having control over your own setup, I've got something for you too. I've created my own DIY security system called the Godfather Security System, just as it says there. It has full app control from your phone, and it's being released in about 6 weeks' time. I'll leave the link in the description so you can join the waiting list if you want to. If you sign up, you get an exclusive exclusive 10% discount code when the kits launch. But however you decide to improve your home security, whether it's pro, going DIY, or just making a few small changes, honestly, that's fine by me. As long as you're thinking about it, that's what matters. Thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next one.